And then we have the characters. Well, we have many characters of the first film, and they're still deep and colorful, and have all the wittiness of the characters of the first film, and they're still complex, but they don't have any real arcs or development. Marty is still caring, relaxed, stealthy, brave, warm, helpful, optimistic, but also worried, and he's fast, but also stressed and playful and witty, and a hothead, although that's inconsistent with the first film. Doc is still clever and obsessed and fanatic and worried and joking and helpful, friendly, innovative, and very risky. Jennifer is sweet, caring, stressed, and disorientated, optimistic and helpful and warm, and Biff is really sadistic, manipulative, greedy, vengeful, rude, aggressive, harsh, and cunning. Lorraine is warm, nice, caring, vulnerable, stressed, and conflicted, depressed, angry, but pragmatic. And George is however, George is a really important, colorful character from the first film, and he doesn't appear. He's killed off, making for a slightly less cast of colorful characters. So all the characters are still deep, but none of them have any development. And Matthew is right that the film has got no heart in that sense. It isn't an emotionally driven story. But so what? It isn't that deep, but it's still exciting, complex, and clever. So what's wrong with just an exciting adventure? And before you say the original had heart, so what? Then this is a disappointing sequel. But it doesn't have to live up to the original. The fact that something was amazing once doesn't mean it needs to be so again. That's spoiled. You don't deserve consistency. You deserve of the same quality. When something is great, then it's nice, but that's extra. It doesn't mean that they owe you that more often. You don't deserve to have something that's not less good. As long as something is good, it's good. However, I think therefore Ava Jan is wrong calling this one of the best film sequels ever made, because the best film sequels of all time should have character development and allow the characters we know and love to further grow, like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, or Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, or Spider-Man 2, or Superman 2. The film does have thematic depth. It has two deep films. The first is that time travel shouldn't be used for greedy reasons because it can corrupt the timeline. Doc tells Marty the time machine wasn't made for gambling, but to uncover the great mystery, and that this is being corrupt and selfish. And he later again tells him it is wrong, and Biff uses his plan and thereby corrupts the reality, thereby showing that abusing time travel can destroy our existence. And the second theme is that time travel is too dangerous, as Doc mentions he needed to destroy it after he saw that Jennifer almost met her younger self, and now Biff stole it, showing time travel can be used as a weapon for evil. And we see how vulnerable their existence is to this kind of manipulation. How Marty's father is now killed, how Biff is in charge, and how Doc is committed. And as soon as they undo the damage, the future is saved, or the present, and therefore everything is fine. So, and this theme will be expanded upon in the next film. But that's about it. So the film has thematic depth, but not immense thematic depth, and it doesn't have nearly as much thematic depth as the first film. And that is why I think Ava Jan is wrong calling this one of the best film sequels of all time. One of the best film sequels of all time should have many thematic layers, like Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, or Rocky 2. Back to the Future Part 2, and also following Back to the Future Part 3 are a lot like Robert Zemeckis' next film after that, Death Becomes Her. Back to the Future Part 2 fits into the category as the following Back to the Future Part 3 and the following Death Becomes Her, as part of the category of one of Robert Zemeckis' Golden Age films, as the first category, where Romancing the Stone and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and especially Back to the Future and Forrest Gump, all fall into a second category of Robert Zemeckis' Golden Age films. The form is complex, epic plots, intense tones, fast paces, and colorful characters, intense acting, and amazing special visual effects, but there's little character development or thematic depth, and the humor is always over the top, where the latter has the former's positive developments, but also complex character development in deep themes and subtle humor. I find this contrast really odd, because it isn't really a matter of execution, but of concept, and not one of skill, but of motivation and attempt. Making deep films with complex character development is difficult, but just having character development isn't. Why would a filmmaker that can make such deep character development, why would he make such who could make such deep films? Why would he make such flat ones? It just seems so uninspired and immature, just having action and comedy and imagination with no substance. The film has a darker tone than the original, and is very intense and merges many genres like science fiction, comedy, action, drama, and crime thrillers. And it also has a really exciting fast pace. Matthew complains the alternate 9085 setting is too over the top and dark, but it's just really dramatic. This adds to the stakes, and it's believable because Biff has so much power and is so corrupt, and places like this have existed in the real world in the past, and still exist like this nowadays. What's also worth considering is is that and it's just a very bleak and engaging and dramatic setting. And yes, it followed a very vibrant view of the future, but that only meant that we all the more wanted to see our hero succeed. And also, yes, the 2015 setting was really imaginative, colorful, optimistic, and original. We indeed have never in science fiction seen a view of Earth in the future we'd actually want to live in, and as Matthew mentions, usually robots have taken over, which is a pretty extreme scenario to believe, that machines will suddenly destroy us, that even though we have constantly been growing, we will be doomed. But in this future there is peace and color, and people still have happiness and a sense of richness, showing that the more things change, the more they stay the same, and that we will always have the same sense of happiness. The idea that we will always consider to want to live in love and peace, and that we will always appreciate color is very realistic, and it's very vibrant and original view of the future, and it's all the more believable then that in the future everything would be grown and we'd all wear the same black clothes. Since why would we all of a sudden lose our sense of taste? The technology for the most part was for convenience and fun. Holograms would be really exciting, and flying cars would make traveling easier, and waveboards would be more fun. So I don't find the technology far-fetched at all. No, this future is realistic, believable, and colorful. And 1955 is still authentic, and the film still has many fantastic jokes, like self-closing shoes, size-adjusting jackets which dry themselves, Marty in the future being out of date instead of too new, like in the first film, lines like "you won't believe this," and then the response, "I don't believe it." However, the humor is more over the top and very in-joke based, unlike the original, and I think one of the best sequels of all time should be subtle and nuanced like the original, yet fresh, like Lethal Weapon 2. The film also has really natural, meaningful, deep dialogue. Like 2015? You mean we're in the future? The future, Marty, what do you mean? How could we be in the future? Jennifer, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're in a time machine. It really shows Marty surprised, immediately asking questions, and that Jennifer is immediately confused. And it's really awkward for Marty to have to explain it. He's a complete wimp. Really shows how surprised Marty is having a cowardly kid, flat out insulting him. And the answer is no, Griff, no. Yeah, whether you're deaf and stupid, the answer is no, Biff. Showing Marty is really witty and capable of standing up for himself. And what the hell, there are two of them, is a really believable, straightforward reaction for someone being so overwhelmed that they just speak out their amazement. Mom, it can't be you. Showing how Marty is completely overwhelmed, repeating his words. Look at him, he's a butthead like his old man was. Showing how disrespectful and sadistic Biff is towards all people. Don't you dare speak that way about George. You're not even half the man he was. Showing Lorraine truly loves George and resents Biff in comparison. Everything is going to be fine, Marty. Are you hungry? I could call room service. Showing Lorraine is still a very motherly, supportive character. Did you get kicked out of another boarding school, Lorraine? Do you know how much perfectly good dough I've blown on that no-good kid of yours? Huh? And all your other kids. Why do you care? The least we can do with all that money is provide a good life for our children. Oh, hold on a second. Let's get this straight. Marty is your son, not mine. And all the money in the world would do no good for that kid. Reflecting, Biff resents Lorraine's children and thinks they're worthless and that they don't deserve his money and aren't even his real kids. He just pays for them to keep Lorraine. We see Lorraine resents him, but desperately at the same time tries to get his support. So the script is great, but is also really flawed. But it is helped by wonderful technical elements. The acting is superb. Michael J. Fox is still relaxed, warm and intense and playful and witty. Christopher Lloyd is still unpredictable and warm and witty and intense. Leah Thompson is sweet and intense and now also vulnerable and helpless. Thomas F. Wilson is menacing and dark and intense and creepy. Elizabeth Shue is sweet, warm and gentle. And it does however miss the charm and wit and detail of Crispin Glover. The direction is fluent and energetic, with lots of movement and surprises and tension and stress and focused elaborate setups. The cinematography is intense, with dark contrasting colors. The lighting is vibrant, being really intense. The set design is really elaborate, with loads of furniture, equipment and properties, and the hallways and rooms. And the sets are detailed, the props realistic, and the costumes colorful. And the editing is energetic and very fast. And the sound is really poignant, being really precise. And the music is again epic, dramatic, mystical, and mysterious. The special visual effects are amazing, with all the future vehicles having mass and depth and size, and interacting to the lightning, and the holograms really looking transparent, and the vehicles being really rough, and the lightning detailed, and the exposition colorful. There are so many complex and fast vehicles and streets, and the characters really look at flying cars and duck them like they are there. And the characters look at holograms and look at their other selves like they are there. And it's immensely realistic and detailed knowledge, and there's a lot of detailed technology and large views in the future. The lighting is intense, and when multiple characters are in the same scene, it really looks like they're there. The makeup is organic with rimples and old hair and dryness, and the people really look like older versions from themselves. And Back to the Future Part 2 was an immense box office success, grossing 42 million on its opening weekend, but it did drop over 70% to 12 million in the next week, although remaining at the top and grossed at $331,950,002 in total worldwide, being a mega blockbuster but a minor financial disappointment, with a drop and grossing $50 million less than the original, which grossed $383,874,862. So it was a huge box office hit, but it was a minor box office disappointment, and it did do very well in home media and rentals. And the film got very positive but flawed reviews, getting 64% on Rotten Tomatoes without a consensus, unlike the first, which had a consensus, and 7.6 on IMDb. And great but flawed audience reactions, getting 80% on Rotten Tomatoes audience ratings, and it got great but flawed fan reactions and a great but flawed reputation and mild cultural impact. And the film got put on some top 10 lists, and the film got nominated for and won some awards. It won 7 awards for Best Special Visual Effects and the BAFTA and a Golden Screen Award, a Young Artist Award, and a Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Movie Actress, and a nomination for an Academy Award for Best Special Visual Effects. I think it's mostly fairly rated, and that it's great but flawed and not as good as the first, and it deserves to be rated as such, but it's slightly underrated because it deserves to have a bit higher praise. So the film has had a great but flawed production, and the film is great but flawed and not as good as the original, and not one of the best film sequels ever made, and it's mostly fairly rated, and it deserves a lot but a bit less praise, and it's great but flawed and not as good as the original, and it deserves to be known as such, but it's slightly underrated because it deserves a bit more praise. And I think both Matthew and AVGN are wrong, and the Matthew is too critical and AVGN too positive. So go see it and give it a 9-, an 8.75. Next time I will be reviewing Back to the Future Part 3 and Matthew's mini review of the film as well as AVGN's review of the film. Bye!